So a few days back, I was feeling a little bit too adventurous, so I thought, why not try and install Void Linux on my main PC and replace the Ubuntu installation on the separate disk that I currently have. I'm actually dual booting Fedora and Ubuntu, and I don't really require Ubuntu. I just keep that disk for trying out different Linux distributions. But anyway, during my research, I found out that Void actually does not yet support GNOME 50. And forget about GNOME 50, they do not have support for GNOME 49. So if I install Void, I'll be stuck with GNOME 48, and that is just not acceptable for me. So I thought, okay, I took the effort to go through the handbook and I found everything fairly very simple. So why not make a video on it to install Void Linux and also install GNOME. But the catch is you're stuck with GNOME 48. So if you really want GNOME 50 on Void, comment down below and maybe I'll go through more docs and find out if it is even possible to get GNOME 50, and in the process maybe also change the Ubuntu installation with Void Linux. I guess that would be fun. But anyway, for now, we're taking the tour from the very safety of a virtual machine. So there are two initial steps. First is to get Void Linux, and that is a fairly simple step, I guess. You just search Void Linux and you just download the ISO. We're going to go with the base model because I'm going to show you not base model, actually base ISO. It's not a car, but anyway, because I want to show you how to install GNOME on the system, and if you want, you can go with the XFCE, so you get a direct desktop environment from download. That is also doable, but where's the challenge in that, right? Let's move on. There we have, the download has started. It's taking a lot of time. Should it take this much amount of time? I don't think so. Let's see if I can get it from a faster mirror. I'm going to go for, let's say, Singapore. All right. That is significantly faster, so I'll just cancel this. So yeah, make sure to select a proper mirror while downloading, else you're stuck the entire day. Now before we start, you need to get a pen drive if you want to install it on your main PC. So we need to flash the ISO to the pen drive, and for that you can use Etcher. Just get it from the website, and the link is also down below, and just select the ISO as well as the pen drive and you're good to go. One thing though, make sure you don't have anything important on the pen drive. If you do have it, make sure to back it up. Also, don't back up on the system where you're trying to install the new Linux distro, unless you have a separate partition for the home directory. But anyway, let's get on with the installation. I already have GNOME boxes installed, so I'm going to try it over there. Let's start GNOME boxes and click on the plus button and install from file. Here we have Void Linux, open. And let's go for a decent amount of RAM. Let's go for 6 gigabytes. Storage 30 GBs is okay. Start. There we have it. So yeah. Now this is in BIOS, so it's going to be different, but I'm going to also show you what you should do for UEFI installations, because that is the spec for all modern PCs. Okay, we have the username and password. Let's go for the username, root, and password is Void Linux. Okay, I think I typed something wrong, so Void Linux. There we have it. Now they have an installer and it's shown over there, Void installer. So just enter that. There we have it. So keyboard, set the keyboard. Let's go for US. Just press U and you will be taken over there. Network. Now I'm using Ethernet, but most of you are going to have Wi-Fi, so you need to set that up by entering your SSID and password and the encryption type. Okay, yes, network is working. Source, well, we need to select network. Mirror, from my experience, I'm not going to rely on the default mirror. I'm going to go to Asia and select Singapore. Yes, that is changed. Host name, Void should be nice. For locale, select English US. Time zone, Asia, Kolkata. There we have it. Root password. Okay, and user account. I'm going to go with our default account name that I use for most PCs. Then enter my name and also a password. Okay, now for the group membership, floppy, that's pretty old. I don't think we need that. that should be all. Okay, now let's go for the bootloader. Done. Partitions. Now this is important. What I'm going to show you is for BIOS. Now most of you won't be having BIOS, so I'm also going to show you what you need to do for UEFI. Actually, let me first show you for UEFI, because if I show you after this, then I need to again go with the BIOS partition. First is, let's go for a new space, that is 1 GB for the UEFI system partition, and we're going to change the type to UEFI system. Next, we need space for swap. I'm going to keep 8 GBs for this. Now, the guide you will find on their website. I'm also going to show it on the screen, the amount of swap you need based on your RAM. So you'll get a good idea how much to keep for this. Or you can also skip this, because most modern PCs have a lot of RAM and you might not need swap at all. Change the type to Linux swap. And finally, the last one is for the root partition. So we are going to just go for plain Linux file system. Now, a trick that you can do is, like I mentioned in the initial part of the video, is to create a separate partition for the home directory. It is very helpful if you really like to do distro hopping. So your home directory remains wherever it is, and you can install new operating systems without having to back up every time you install a new operating system. But I don't trust my PC that much, so I always take backup, and hence it doesn't make sense for me. Now what you need to do is write this, yes, and quit. Now select the file system. For the first one, that is the UEFI partition, we need to select FAT32. The mount point is going to be /boot/UEFI. Okay, yes. Next one is Linux swap, yes, and the third one is ext4, or you can also go with btrfs, especially if you like to keep system images. Select the mount point as root, and that is all done. Okay, now I'm going to show you the partitions for BIOS. I had to redo the entire thing because for some reason I could not get rid of the formatting of FAT32 that we did with UEFI. So anyway, it's all okay now. So again, let's go for a 1 MB partition for the boot. We are going to change the type to BIOS boot. Oops, yeah, BIOS boot. Next, we need space for swap. That is again 8 GB. Okay, and finally, Linux file system. Now, change the type. We forgot to do that. Linux swap and write yes. Done. Quit file systems. Make sure to change the type, not change the type. You need to keep it at none for BIOS. And for the 8 GB of space, set it to Linux swap. And for this one, set it to, what should I go for? ext4, mount at root. Done. That's all. Let's go ahead with the installation. Now it won't take a lot of time, so don't worry, and we are done. Now make sure to enable this ACPID, especially if you're running this on a laptop, because it's going to be important. And the other things out there, we have SSHD, which is helpful if you want remote access to your terminal, and also WPS applicant, provided you have wireless network, which is not the case over here. Okay, and reboot. Great. And there we go. We have the login page. Well, not really a page, right? Username, password, and we are in. Now, the next step is to install GNOME Desktop. So let's first make sure everything is up to date. So sudo xpps install syu password. Oh, okay. Next is, sorry, xpps install. We need GNOME Core. Now the GNOME Core package comes with very minimal stuff. So you probably get a document viewer, the settings app, and a bunch of other applications, very bare bone. But if you want to get most of the apps, you're better off with GNOME, just GNOME. Okay, don't go for GNOME Core. But let's go for the Core version, and let's also go for GNOME Console, because we need the console. Actually, it's not shipped with the Core version, which is a bit surprising, but it's actually not, because a lot of people use different terminals, so it's just kept blank, so you can install your own terminal, whatever you want to. And some other things we need, that is dbus, eLogin-D, and also GDM. I think that should be all. Also, we need to add Mesa DRI. That's it. Why? Sit back and relax. Okay, all installed. Do we have Network Manager installed? Let me just try and install it. Oh, we already have it. Now, let's add everything to AutoStart. Now, the fun part of using Void is that it's all about symlinks. So I'll just do sudo and then symlink GDM to var/service. And we also need to go for dbus. And it should start any minute. If it doesn't, we need to restart the system. Okay, I think we need to restart. So sudo, okay, there we have it. There we have it. GNOME. Okay, nothing is working for some reason, so it's unresponsive. Okay, let me just do a restart. Yeah, fine. Enter the password and we are in. Let me just fix the resolution real quick. So I'll just head over to settings. You can see how tiny the installation is. It's just a few. Okay, we forgot to add Network Manager to AutoStart, remember? So it's just showing network unavailable. But anyway, first let us fix the resolution. It's more important, for now at least. So here we have it. Apply and keep changes done. Very good. Okay, now for the network issue, we actually need to disable DHCPCD, because if we keep Network Manager along with DHCPCD on, they're going to clash. So we just need to unlink that by removing the symlink. So sudo rm var/service/DHCPCD and enter the password and done. Now we need to add the Network Manager. Let me see if we can get this. Yeah, we have it. So just change this with Network Manager. Now I need to solve one annoying thing that is there with all new distros, that is the Ctrl-Alt-T, which is now removed from starting the terminal. So I'm going to add that from here, custom shortcuts, and let's name this terminal. Command will be plain kgx and the shortcut is Ctrl-Alt-T. Add. Nice. Nice. I like it. Now sudo xbps install Firefox. We need a web browser, right? So Firefox. And it is done. There we have it. Now you can install all the other stuff, whatever you need. For example, you can get a text editor, you can go for Evolve, the app for customization of GNOME. I'll also link it down below. So that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. And again, I gave you the warning at the starting of the video that you will be stuck with GNOME 48, and as you can see, it's actually GNOME 48. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Do like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Also, do comment down below if you want the GNOME 50 tutorial, so I'll actually check it out properly to see if it's even possible or not.